Hello everyone, I am Satyam and in this video we will be learning about the constant, where and let keywords in JavaScript. So you all know about the where keyword, but you are not familiar with the const and let keyword. But now I will explain you the usage of these three keywords and where you can use let and where you can use const and where you have to use var in your JavaScript code, because these three are basically the variable declarators, you can say. So variable declarators must have to declare that variable by some conditions. There are some conditions based on the var keyword, and there are some conditions on the const, and same is the case for the let keyword. Let and const are the added to the JavaScript in the, I guess, ECMAScript 6. So we will learn about these things in this video. So what is const, let and var? Const is basically used to initialize the constant variables whose value remains the same in the whole code. Now let's assume you are writing a code in which you have to find out the area of circle, or so the formula of area of circle is pi r square. So we all know that the value of pi is 3.14, and this value will never change if we are using some other kind of program in which we are using pi. Then in that program the pi will again be the same, 3.14. So pi is basically a constant whose value will not change depending upon the code, and the value of the constant variables will remain constant throughout the JavaScript code, and they will not change. Next comes the let keyword. Let is used for declaring or initializing block level variables whose scope resides in that block. Now this sounds quite confusing, but it's actually very simple. Let help us to create the variables whose scope is local to the function, or local to the block in which they are defined. Now suppose I have written a for loop, and in the initialization part, in the first part of the condition of the for loop, I have to declare a variable. So I will declare a variable with var. That variable will reside outside the for loop, but the let will help us to declare a variable that is available only in that for loop. So it is very useful in some cases. So, and next comes the var. It is used to make global or local variables, as we all know about the var keyword. Let's have a look at that example. Now I have a constant pi. So I will declare that variable with the const keyword, const space, and then the name of the variable is pi, and I have make this value to 3.14. And after that, when I try to give a pi some other value, then pi equals to 10, then I will get an error, assignment to constant variable. So we cannot assign a constant variable after it is declared and initialized. We can declare constant variables only once in our whole code. So when I type console.log pi, I will get the value as 3.14 and not as 10. So you can use the constant variables in many cases, suppose you are creating something in which you are creating if I say a text editor or a text box in which you want to place something inside the text box every time, and you don't want to change that thing, and the user can't change that thing. So what you can do is you can simply create a constant and initialize that constant with a string value, and that string will never change. So you can use the constant variable there, or if you are talking you are making a program that can solve mathematical calculations. In that case, the const keyword is very useful. So in the next thing, I have shown the usage of let keyword. So guys, let keyword help us to make variables whose scope is present local to the function or local to the thing where it is declared. Like now suppose I have declared a variable like for let I equals to 0, I less than 3 and I plus plus, and I have printed that the value of I in the console. So I get the output as 0, 1 and 2 because 2 is less than equals to 3. But when the I value reaches to 3, then 3 is not less than equals to 3. So the statement will evaluate to false and the loop exits. So when after that loop, if I try to print I with the console.log, then I get an error that I is not defined because we have not defined I outside the loop. But when you use where keyword here instead of the let keyword, then what will happen is the where keywords just takes the there is a thing in JavaScript like when you declare some variables with the where keyword, then when you run that code, the declarations will go at the top of your code. No matter where you have initialized them, it will always goes to the top of your code. Like JavaScript compilers are smart, so they don't want to like put you in some condition where you don't know whether or where you have used a variable but you have not initialized that, or you used something something like that. So in that case, what the JavaScript compiler will do is it will take all the variable declaration and put that thing to the top of your code. You can also try that thing. Just write console.log and just write y equals to 3 and write console.log y, and after that console.log statement write where space y. These 3 lines of code will explain the thing that I am talking about. So let will help us to create the variables whose scope is local to the block where they are initialized. Next comes the where keyword. So as I say, with the help of where keyword, when you initialize something, then it's also present outside the for loop, because it is when the JavaScript runs that program, it will take that where to the top of the code, and then after the increment part, the value of I will become 3, and it will check whether 3 is less than 3. So 3 is not less than 3, but because the variable I is declared outside the for loop, when the compiler runs that JavaScript code, it will take the value of I, it will set the value of I as 3. So after that, if I try to print the value of I after the for loop, I will get the value as 3. So I hope you got my point. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned with Unacademy for more videos. And you can get the full source code of this video in the following GitHub link. So thank you guys.